Coach Ryan and Coach Danielle here. Hello. You want to say hi? There we go. And we also have Miss Sarah Blank here with us today. And Sarah is embarking on her 12-week journey with us currently. And she's coming up on our final week of the program. How exciting! And so many awesome results that you've had, Sarah. We're so proud of you and all the work that you've put forth here, and of course all the results that you've gotten, and then some of it has been obviously a learning experience for you, as is everybody in the program. But why don't you tell us a little bit about you, Sarah, who you are, what you do, and even what you struggled with prior to and being in this program.
Sure. So my name's Sarah Blank. I have three kids, 16, 13, and 12. Been in the boot camp program that Ryan and Danielle do for about a year and a half. And when they started this program, I was really excited about it. I'd had some initial weight loss before joining the boot camp program and during the beginning of it, which I think was a little bit easier for me because it was during COVID and I was home all the time and could really control a lot of what was going on in my life. And I did a lot of calorie counting to get there, which, to be honest, was really hard to sustain once I went back into the workplace. It just was a lot of extra work trying to figure out how to make that fit into my life. So this program was really exciting for me because it was something that didn't have the calorie counting part.
I know we hear about it all the time in terms of just people dreading the process of making a change to their bodies. Talk a little bit about how so many people are scared over the fact they have to do so much and overhaul their life completely in order for them to see these big changes. And obviously, Sarah, that was one of the things that drove you to this program and what so many people like about it. Can you tell us a little bit more about how it's been, I wouldn't say a seamless transition, obviously, because you're transitioning and you're creating these habits, but besides the non-calorie counting and other things that you've tried in the past, what are the things that you've struggled with in the past that this is the solution for?
So I think, with the things that I've done in the past, they just seemed very short term. They were something to get me through, but not something that I learned a lot from. I learned how to count calories.
Right.
Versus, I think going into this, I really hope to learn a lot about what I was eating overall and the nutrition of it. And I feel like I started to think about food in a different way too. I love food. I love to cook. So for me, I didn't want to lose that piece of what is really enjoyable for me. But by kind of approaching food in a different way or viewing food in a slightly different way, I feel like I've gained a lot.
Yeah. And
I
those
think that's what becomes so stressful about counting calories is that the food is about the calories, not so much about the food.
And we tout so much about on this program, Sarah, and you can attest to that, how you shouldn't restrict yourself. You shouldn't deprive yourself of food. Like you said, I love food. I love to cook, and that's great. And you should be able to do both and be able to get the results that you want. As you can see, you have. And because of that, that's what you were saying, Danielle, in terms of just, hey, I don't want to put in the effort. I want to be able to go to this party. I want to be able to go out on the weekends. Like, guys, you can do all of that and get the results that you want. You just can't go to the point where you're going, A to Z on the going out all the time and doing all this, but you can easily mix it on in. And if you do it, Sarah, consistently, right? Your body is fed what it's needed, and then it doesn't crave, which then of course it puts you in a situation where you don't overindulge too much. Or of course the other people who don't do it and they don't eat anything at all. So that's one of the worst things you can do. But you love it, you want to cook, look at, you can do it, and you can get great success on it without overhauling your life, right? What would you say, what is your the most profound or helping habit that you've created in this program?
So I would say like the one of the first lessons where we learn about how to structure our plate and how much protein and how much veg, that was like game changing for me.
Yeah,
just
right.
That it seems so simple too. I feel like that's happened to me so many times in this program where I'm like, why didn't I think of that? Why didn't I know that? But I think that in itself, it's just such an easy thing to do every time I sit down for a meal, but it makes a big difference.
Yeah, it's definitely easier than counting the calories for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Counting calories or following a program that, is cookie cutter. It's supposed to be for everyone else. Like this is a program, Sarah, where you can look at your plate, and we always say this, and be able to tell yourself and be able to ask yourself, is this the best quality or source of energies for me? And if it's not, how do I make those adjustments? Well, seeing the picture of the plate and knowing what we're talking about in terms of our program and how we ask you to set up your plate, and that's really what it's called, setting up your plate. It's easy to say, oh, okay, I can see where I can adjust this and that and make it 80% better for me than it was before. And think about if you're doing that on a daily and weekly basis, how much of a change you're going to make off of that alone. So I'm so glad that you find that to be beneficial for you, because when we talk about this program to people, it's, I can't reiterate anymore on how simple the concept is in terms of just being able to say, hey, if you can look at your plate, okay, and all your problems can be solved, because that's essentially what we're saying here, and you can achieve such great results. Like, would you do it? And it's hard for people to understand that, especially with their past relationship with food, their past non-successes in other programs, and it's hard to trust themselves at that point. What do you feel that the accountability in this program has done for you in working with us on a daily basis?
Yeah, I mean, I am blown away by how much support we get in this program. That's definitely not something I never had before. I tried Noom, which has like some level of support in it, but not like this. I feel like anytime I have a question, or if I'm trying to figure out, is this the best thing to buy, or, what do I do when I go out to this restaurant? I don't know what to order. Like, you guys, every single question I have, you guys are immediately responding, and also some of like the analysis, things that I didn't realize I was even doing. I know Danielle had given me some feedback on, some of the snacks that I was having. Like, I didn't even think about, I think I'm taking in good quality food, but I didn't look at the overall day. So I feel like the amount of support that you get is it's incredible. Plus the coaching calls too, having that level of support is so great to hear the other people that are working through it, and some of the questions they have are things I've learned so much from the answers that they get on those coaching calls.
We always like to say, and we've brought this up with other ladies too, when we've talked to them, and, we do call this a group coaching program, because in its core, it is, we do the group coaching calls. But how do you feel as far as the personalization of it? I mean, it's group, but you still feel like you get your personal touch every day.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, every time I post a meal, you guys are either giving feedback or, giving me the thumbs up, like that looks great. And then, the questions that I've had, or I've, messaged to you guys, I immediately get a response. So I can't say enough about the level of support. I think when I've been asked about the program too, that's one of the things that I've definitely called out is I'm blown away by how much support you get.
Yeah. And do you feel that having that consistent accountability and support has guided you to do these habits so consistently that they're a part of who you are now?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Because of the consistency. Yeah. And that's really the drive and the force for this program, is be able to be like, listen, you're going to be, it's not easy to make a transition. We're going to be there to hold your hand. We're going to be there to guide you.
But we want you eventually not to need that.
Right. But the more that you do these things on a daily basis, they become a part of who you are. And that's what it's all about creating sustainable habits, not only for achieving the results now, but for the rest of your life. And that is it's such a powerful statement when we can say that to people, to say, hey, not only are you going to be able to get the results that you want now, but you'll never have to worry about it again in the future. And this is a perfect example of where, if you're consistent for the 12 weeks and staying on that and making sure you're doing the things that we talk about and that we instill on a weekly basis in our, from our curriculum, like, they're going to be ingrained in you. So, and that is exactly what we're looking for, sustainability here.
Yeah, I think with how easy it is too, I don't have to worry now about sitting there trying to figure out how many calories are in my meal. Yeah. Now I know when I go into my meal, just how I approach my plate, and that's very easy to maintain, I feel like, going forward.
Yeah. And you said before, like, why didn't I know that? Well, it's easy to not know that because we're getting so much information thrown at us all the time, like constantly. We don't know what's right or wrong. Like you said, you thought counting calories was the right way. People think that fasting is the right way, or drinking shakes 3 times a day is the right way. So because we get all this information, trying to get rid of that clutter is, the first step.
Yeah. And that's why so many people are scared, because they feel like it's going to be like, more stuff on my plate, literally and figuratively, right? More stuff. Last little thing in terms of your journey so far. And I know you've lost over 10 pounds and still continuing to rock it. So congratulations to you. What's the biggest eye-opening thing besides, you mentioned the plate as being the most helpful tool, biggest eye-opening aspect to a habit that you've changed prior to, that you thought before was actually going to get you weight loss results, and this has kind of changed your mindset? And I'll give you an example, and maybe this is yours, but I know a lot of people that we talk to initially come into it saying, well, I got to have less calories than I burn, so I don't really eat anything till 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and they think that eating less or eating nothing at all is going to get them the results. But then they've been doing this for so many years, not yielding the results that they want. And then when we ask them to start eating more, they're like blown. Maybe I took it, maybe I didn't, but I'd love to get your feedback. So
I think I'm the absolute opposite of that. I eat all day long. I'm definitely a snacker. And so I think that was the biggest change for me, was kind of looking at my snacks and being like, okay, is this just a snack, or is this, I was essentially eating just like a whole meal for an extra snack. And it was like healthy-ish stuff, but it was a lot of food. So I think one of the things that really helped me was kind of eating more filling meals for my actual meals, like upping my protein. That helped me stay feeling fuller longer, so that when I did snack, it was an actual snack.
Yeah, it's wild how many times we talk to people about just, hey, you shouldn't feel super hungry after you eat your meal. Take your time to let your body digest. And if within the next half hour you're still feeling full, chances are that meal that you quote unquote said you ate probably wasn't the best quality of foods that you could be taking in. So it's about really improving upon that and how much of a difference it makes.
And it's hard to tell that. I mean, I think having two people from the outside look at what you're eating is so much easier to pick up on things, obviously, than when you look at it yourself. And I know the food journal is probably helpful. We've asked you guys to look through your own food journal too.
Take picture
so that you can, your picture journal. So you can see, some habits too. And I know it can be eye-opening, but just having that outside view is huge.
Yeah. And when we talk about food journaling and things along those, a lot of people, get scared about that. When we refer to that, we're talking about actual pictures where the clients are taking these pictures and then they're submitting to us so that we can then give them instant or real-time feedback. And at the same time, it gives you an opportunity to say, it's a lot different. It's one thing to write things down, right? But it's another thing to actually see it, right, Sarah, and be like, wow, that's what I'm eating for fuel here today. Or wow, look at the difference and how much better I feel about that. I remember first week, people like yourself and other people in the program were like, it's just so humbling and, and eye-opening just to be able to look at what I'm actually taking in on a daily basis. It's right there, and it's just sometimes we push it to the side, hear no evil, see no evil. Once it's gone, it's gone. We don't have to think about it anymore. But in this case, it really helps to hold us accountable to that.
It's interesting to look back through my food journal too and see like what I was eating at the beginning versus what I'm eating now. Like I thought I was eating pretty good back then, but now looking back at it, I'm like, okay, I've definitely changed overall the dynamic of what I take in on a daily basis.
We hear that so much. Oh, I exercise well, I eat really well, I do this, I do that, I don't eat this and that, but I can't lose weight. I've tried everything. Most of the time, we're just not doing what we know we should be doing consistently enough. And for the longest period of time, the last thing I want to say, because I know this is a great segue for this. And I know up until recently, you had some good success in the first X amount of weeks, and then you hit a little bit of a lull in terms of your weight loss success, and you were still continuing on. We made a couple of tweaks, but really for the most part, it was all about keeping consistent to what you're doing. And we cannot understate how important that is for anybody in this program or making these changes to stay true to you, right? And focus on what's best for you and continue to go along, because there's going to be ups and downs. Like you always say, weight loss is not linear. It's going to happen, especially when you're going naturally and sustainably like we do here. You're going to have some weeks where it's really, really positive. Other weeks you're going to either sustain, or maybe we might adjust a little bit here and there. And then of course you're going to eventually get over the hump. So we just want to congratulate you. You're doing such a great job. I'm so glad that you're going to continue on into the program, the maintenance program that we're doing, to keep the accountability. I think that's fantastic. And keep on rocking it. So thank you so much, Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah.
Really appreciate it. Congratulations. And doing it all during the holiday season, which is really, really a great accomplishment. So Thank you so
Thank you.
much, Sarah. And we will be talking to you later today. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.